Good evening. It's time for the Iman Report. It is Tuesday, October 5th. And now we are going to preview this week's top 25 for college football. Who is on upset alert this week? We are going to kick off with Coastal Carolina against Arkansas State on Thursday night. Coastal Carolina, the 16.5-point favorites. The number 15 school still chasing that group of 5 at-large bid. Arkansas State is not good on defense, allowing this is going to be a game where Coastal Carolina will have no problem. Coastal Carolina's 16.5-point favorites. Coastal Carolina wins. Coastal Carolina covers. Next up, Temple against Cincinnati. Cincinnati coming off a big win over Notre Dame. This could have all the makings of a trap game here in Cincinnati after coming off a big win over Notre Dame. Temple, let's see what Temple's record looks like right now. The Owls are 3-2 on the year. This is year 2 of Rod Carey. His seat's starting to get a little warm at Temple. I don't know how it's going to... This is one where I do think Cincinnati could have a little bit of a letdown after that big win. Temple coming off a big win over Memphis. I do think since it's at 28.5 points, Cincinnati's going to win, but I do think I'm going to take the points, though. That is just too big of a spread. Stanford at Arizona State. Stanford's already upset both two top 25 schools this year with USC and Oregon, and they held their own against UCLA. Now they go to Tempe to play the Arizona State Sun Devils. Arizona State 10.5-point favorites. Arizona State has really good offense and defense. They could be a Pac-12 contender. I do think this is going to be a very close game. At 10.5, take the points in this one. I might take this is one where I am going to put Arizona State on upset alert. But I think Arizona State wins, but they don't cover. The Red River Rivalry Showdown. It's time to go to the Cotton Bowl. Texas, the designated home team this year. Oklahoma going to Texas. Oklahoma, the 5.5-point favorites. These are always fun games. Texas certainly would love to take down their rival. First time in this rivalry under Steve Sarkisian for Texas. Oklahoma played a little flat last couple weeks. I think Oklahoma is going to come motivated. Oklahoma is going to win the game, and they are going to cover the 5.5-point spread. Maryland against Ohio State. Ohio State, the 20.5-point favorites. Maryland getting blown out by Iowa. Ohio State, I don't know what you think about Ohio State yet. I think Ohio State questions how is good, but I don't know if they're a great team. This is a one where Ohio State is the 20.5-point favorites. At that line, I am going to take the points. Ohio State wins, but I don't think they're going to cover against Maryland. Michigan State and Rutgers. Michigan State, the 6.5-point favorites on Rutgers. Rutgers did upset Michigan State last year, but these are much improved teams last year. Rutgers' losses are coming off of teams that are not exactly slouches. Michigan State really good. This is, I think, is going to be a very close game. With it being Rutgers, I am going to put Michigan State on upset alert. And you know what? Rutgers pulls off the upset in this one. Vanderbilt and Florida. Florida, the 38.5-point favorites. Vanderbilt is just a bad team. Vanderbilt is the doormats of the SEC. Florida should take care of business. Florida's going to win, but at 38.5 points, take the points in this one. Arkansas, Ole Miss. This is a fun battle of two teams who got clobbered by the heavyweights. But you get a nice matchup with Matt Corral going against. This is, I think, a toss-up game right here. Ole Miss favored by 6.5. Lane Kiffin. This is one where Matt Corral would certainly love to get revenge. Which team will bounce back? Arkansas. Ole Miss is 6.5? No, they're not going to win. I'm going to take Arkansas to win this one. Boise State at BYU. BYU only a 2.5-point favorites over Boise State. Granted, for the longest time, Boise State was the powerhouse of the group of five. But in the last few years, Boise State's not been as good. Boise's already, I think, is 2-3, I think, this year. Boise State 2-2 on the year. Now they play BYU. This is one where I think Boise State's going to come in and win. Boise State's going to come in and cover. BYU is just that good. BYU is just waiting for a Cincinnati slip to get that group of five bid. Next, SMU against Navy. These have always been close games. SMU favored by 14.5. Navy, not exactly the greatest school right now in college football. This is one where I don't know. I don't think SMU is going to win it, but I don't think they're going to cover at 14.5 points. Wake Forest and Syracuse. Wake Forest, the 6.5-point favorites. Syracuse is terrible this year. Dino Babers could be one loss away from being fired at this point. Syracuse 2-2 on the year, but they did lose to a bad Florida State team last week. And Wake Forest is a much better team than Florida State. I think Wake Forest comes in, gets the win, covers. They're going to cover the 6.5-point spread. Georgia against Auburn. This is going to be a fun matchup. JT Daniels is back. Will it be Bo Nix this week? Will it be TJ Finley at quarterback? Does it matter? Georgia blew the doors off of Arkansas last week. Georgia is looking like a bona fide college football playoff contender right now. Auburn, they've looked okay this year, but they're not quite at Georgia's level at 14.5 points. This could be a trap game for Georgia, so I'm going to be cautious here. I think Georgia's going to win, but I am not going to take the point. But I'm going to take the points at 14.5. One of the biggest games of the week goes down in Iowa this week. The Penn State Nittany Lions go and take on the Hawkeyes. This could potentially be this is a playoff game and the marquee game this week in college football, the marquee game in the Big Ten. This could be a very low-scoring game. Iowa, the 2.5-point favorites. If Penn State wins, it is not an upset. Penn State has won the last 3 at Kinnick Stadium. This is going to be fun. This is one where I would maybe stay away from betting-wise. But when it's all said and done, Iowa comes in and gets the win. Michigan at Nebraska. Michigan only a 3.5-point favorites. This could have a trap game makings for Michigan. But Jim Harbaugh has this team running on all cylinders this year, and the conference is wide open for them to take. There is a possibility that this could be a trap game, but no. At 3.5, Michigan's going to come in, get the win, get business done. Michigan is going to cover. The underdog Notre Dame against Virginia Tech. This one's a pick'em. This is a pick'em. This one's a pick'em game. And Virginia Tech could come in and upset. But I think Notre Dame is going to play mad. I am not confident in Michigan. I am not confident, in Virginia Tech. But I think when it's all said and done, Notre Dame comes in, gets the win. LSU at number 16, Kentucky. Kentucky could be on upset alert. They could have a letdown after going in and beating Florida last week. This is a great school under Mark Stoops. But we'll see if Will Levis can continue. Will Levis can get this run going or not. This is one where I could see it happen. I do think I'm going to take LSU here to upset Kentucky. Especially now with Coach O's seats burning up a bit. Next up, Alabama at Texas A&M. Texas A&M has lost 2 in a row. And Alabama is on a tear. Alabama favored by 17.5 points over Texas A&M. Yeah, I think Alabama's going to win it. Alabama's going to win, but I'll take the points at 17.5. And then you get New Mexico at San Diego State. New Mexico 0-5 on the year. Aztecs, the 19.5-point favorites. I'll take San Diego State in this one, but take the points. And that will conclude it this week for college football. I'll be back tomorrow to to do my picks for the NFL. Good night, everybody.